So the prescription was given, or the program of action was given. It's not that you dash into a seat and sit down under a tree and close your eyes. It's good if your friend has got a camera, they can take your photo and you can send it to your family lost in meditation. It will be a beautiful picture, but there will be no contemplation. In order to contemplate, first the equipment must be refitted for this special work. Anybody cannot take a brush and some colors and start painting. He has to go through the training. Anybody cannot sing, except in kirtan here, sing unless you train your voice and sound. Making any noise is not music. Right? In the same way, in every department of activity, a precondition of the equipment is necessary in training. Similarly, what are the conditions necessary before you can sit quietly and expect, without any obstacles, to contemplate upon, steadily contemplate upon the reality? That is what is being given in the previous verse. Now, come on. Samahita.
Samahitaye pravilapya bahyam. Shrotradi chetasvamaham chidatmani. Ta eva mukta bhava pasha bandhaihi. Nanye tu paroksha kathabhidhayinah.
Samahitaye, yaha, whoever he be, who has brought this mind into that samadhi avastha. Samadhi avastha is not burying you under the ground. There is nothing miraculous about it. Your dhi buddhi, mana buddhi, your inner equipment, sama, rippleless. All ripples of thoughts rising has been quieted. Samahitatma, samahitye pravilapya bhashya. When thus the mind is quiet, from your sleep you know, the mind is no more turned towards the world of objects, and therefore all the objects are wiped out of our awareness. As in deep sleep, pravilapya having dissolved, merged, bahyam outside, outer world, shrotradi cheta. Also, the inner equipments, not only that it is quietened, all the reports of the world outside reaching your mind is quietened, shrotradi, ears, etc. So nobody, no sense organ is reporting of the existing objects around it. The eyes are not seeing, ears are not hearing, nose is not smelling, tongue is not tasting, skin is not touching. As in sleep. Shrotradi, all those receptions of stimuli has been quieted, wiped out. They may be going on, but I am not conscious of it. So long as I am not conscious of it, they do not touch me. They do not affect me. At this moment, my only son in Calcutta may be in an accident. Right? But until I hear it, it doesn't affect me. Because the happening is there, and unless I contact matra sparshas tugaundeya, Shidoshna Suguduk. long, long ago. In Gita, we think we've learned it. So by contact alone, things are repeated. I am not contacting anything of the outer world, I am only contacting him, and that is called samadhi. So at that time, all the world of plurality perceived by the sense organs of perception and your mind, intellect, the inner world of thoughts and emotions, all of them are wiped out. Nay, when all these are wiped out, the guy in me who was perceiving them all, the limited ego, the jivatva bhava, aham chidatmani cha aham, the concept of I as a separate individuality also gone. Not only that the entire dream world is wiped out, but I, the dreamer who was experiencing the dream world, also is gone when I rediscover my waking state. Right? In the same way, when such as samadhi avastha, when you are in the higher state, everything, objects of the world outside are not perceivable. Therefore, don't say that Swamiji in samadhi. When I practice, every day I go into samadhi. A blue color with a golden spot. And that slowly, slowly grows. Samadhi. Here the Shastra says, I am not bluffing you, or other bluffers should not bluff you, because you have studied the Shastra. And in samadhi avastha, there is nothing. To the extent that the great subtle thinkers of Buddhism were compelled to declare that the Atman, the self, is asat. Asat means non-existent. What they meant was non-existence of all these things. But Shankara, in order to kick them, deliberately misunderstood it and said that how can the reality be asat? It's all wrong. If it is asat, who saw it? So there must be a sat vastu, an existent vastu, which experienced the non-existence. Truth cannot be non-existence. He interpreted it that way. What Buddha said is true, or Buddhists said is true. What they meant was, these things will not be as it is now experienced, will not be there. The non-existence of the dream is the existence of the waking state. But he felt that there is an available lathi to break their shaven head, and therefore he used it, saying that asatvada is wrong and all that. Yeah, this is also asatvada. What is this? What argument is this? This argument also is asat. It will not be there, it will not be there, it will not be there. That is exactly what they said. None of these things will be there. And what it is, we cannot explain. So all that you can tell you is, what you are now experiencing will not be there. So the non-existence of these things is that reality. But then they said that reality is non-existence. They did not say it. But the Kaladi Brahman decided that way in order to kick them. Never mind. But that you should not give it out. This is the truth that you and I know. It was a strategy at that time. Sayeva mukta bhavapasha bandhai. Such an individual who has thus awakened to the higher state, who is no more a limited ego, nor is he involved in the experiences physical and mental. Such an individual who has awakened into it is, no doubt, no more any bondage is on him. He is no more inhibited by the world of matter. Anatma has not touched him or will not touch him, because he is in the Atman, the self, the higher state. Na anyetu, never can anyone else declare that I am free. Just because he has studied the scriptures. Paroksha kathabhidhayina. Paroksha, aksha, eyes. Paroksha, paraka, aksha. So all that you have got now from the textbooks is only indirect information. Rishis saw it. You did not. Krishna said it. You did not say it. Arjuna heard it. You never heard it. It is so reported. So what? You have not had any experience. So, paroksha katha, it is only a story heard from others. They had that experience. Abhidhayina, though you have studied them all, and you can give beautiful discourses about it. Oi, oi. He is not free. He is still in ego. He can still get up from there and go out and get married and become unhappy. He can still run after other wealth or money or position, status. That one is not one who is freed from everything. He has not become godlike. He has heard about this, that is all. Na katha vidhayina, one who is just giving wonderful discourses, enchanting to those who are listening. But he is repeating what has been said. He is as best only a journalist. Prime Minister said, that is all. What did you know? What do I know? Prime Minister said. He is a reporter. Similarly, all of you are reporters. I need not sit down and open the book and read line by line. You are an available, walking, two-legged recorder. I have only to press the button. Taittiriya Upanishad. Om started. What is the significance of it? Have you one press. Taittiriya Upanishad. Ishavasya Upanishad. Think. Yeah, but woo. That na anye tu. Others, just how much you may be erudite, a scholar, blabbering what you have studied, not even given discourses, blabbering. Because you yourself don't know what you are talking. This you have got a head in memory, it just leaks out through the mouth. But that is all. What does the gutter know? What is flowing through it? Huh? Similarly, your mouth is a gutter through which the great ideas of the rishis reaches the head. And in that flow, if there is a block, what? I'll start from the very beginning. My God. You have no idea where you are, what you are, and why are you saying that, what does it mean? You will go on. Those people cannot feel this freedom from the entanglements of matter, but they are still conditioned by upadhi.
Upadhi bhedat swayameva bhidyate chopadhya pohe swayameva kevalaha tasmad upadher vilayaya vidvan वसेत् सदा कल्प समाधि निष्ठया
upadhi vedad. In my room, basement, there is a small little hole on the wall on my right side. And through that, the sunlight is coming. And a patch of sunlight is on my left wall, left-hand side wall. Now if I insert a bit in that line of light, a prism, the light disperses in the prism, and that little spot of white sunlight becomes a band of vibrioric color, violet to red, the 7 colors. There is a plurality, 7 different colors. But this dispersal came not from the sun, the sunlight itself dispersed, but the sunlight gets dispersed into its different colors when it is passing through the prism ABC. It is the nature of the prism to disperse. In the same way, Atman, the self, pure consciousness, within and without, these are also nothing but Brahman. The area where I am seeing my dream universe is also nothing but the waking mind. It's not in another world, it is here itself. Then, in the same way, when the prism is introduced, the light which is one without a second has become many. And when the prism is removed, the entire 6 bands of color collapses into the one sunlight as ever before. If this picture is in your mind, when the consciousness within you, and all through the Vedantic textbooks we are told that all these are nothing but one Brahmamayam Jagat, including you. So Brahman within, Brahman without. Yet, you and I are today seeing the plurality because of the equipments BMI. When consciousness is passing through the sense organs, the mind and intellect, the one infinite reality appears to play as the world of plurality, the endless variety of stone and plant and animal and human, the entire universe of things and beings, the entire Einsteinian world of time and place appears to be there. When I see thus the plurality, other emotions arise. These things I like, these things I hate. This is my love, and that is what my hate. Even I don't want to look at that fellow. Where are they? All nothing but Brahman. But you are seeing it through your body, mind, and intellect. And in that throughout life, when you are identified with the gross body, the waking state of experiences. When you are identified with the subtle body, the dream world of experience. And the causal body, absence of everything. All these 3 fields, you jump about. Why? Of the various equipments. Same thing. Upadhi bhedad, because of the differences in the equipment. I see a thing in one way and understand a thing. You see the same thing and interpret it differently. What are you? See? The thing is the same. But you look at it one way, I look at it another way. That dried skin which is given to you for food. Some people say 3. Others would say Advaita. Others will say a shock. The thing is the same. 3 different opinions. One fellow is happy, and when the rice comes, I get you. One fellow, completely. I've seen that, it's very interesting. How? Rice is the same. But one man says, give me more and more rice. Other fellow says, a little. A third fellow says, never. The same rice, same roti. In the same way, I love Mr. A, but you all hate him. The man is the same. Each individual, according to his own equipment, sees a world of his own, so that even though we are all living in the same world, world is one. No 2 persons are living the same life. The man lives his life, the wife lives his life, the child lives its own life. Each individual is interpreting the world and seeing the world according to his own equipment, and therefore, upadhi bhedad swayameva bhidyate. In fact, it is no distinction, but by itself, each individual in his experience would say that it is like that. See? One who has no aestheticism will say that, what ugly hillocks. Siddhapari, I went there, I didn't like the place. Yeah, she. Another one says, beautiful. A third says, that is heaven upon earth. A man says, hell. That Trilokinath, all my peace and shanti gone. Like, each individual interprets it, you can't blame anyone. All of them are right. Muhammad, yes, Nabi. As he was going on from place to place, preaching, one place, people said that you are talking nonsense, you are talking through your hat. Cap. Because no hat there. I said, you are right. And they went away. Another batch came. You are really a prophet. You are not an ordinary man. What a beautiful idea. He said, you are right. They will do. So the man who is next to him, who has both heard, he said, Maharaj, ye kya baat hai? One fellow said that it is absolutely absurd, and then the opposite opinion, another party. To both of them you said, yes, yes, you are right. This is what I said. Each one is right. Why? He saw it that way. It's not the fault of anybody. His mind interpreted that way. You are right. The other man says, no, you are also right. In fact, everyone in the world has his own right. It is right that he sees a thing as it is. Before knowing anything of Vedanta, you thought that Vedanta is art, Vedanta, philosophy. Now you know it. Your equipment changed. You are seeing the same thing in a different light altogether. In America, how many times the same partners again joined? They were married, then they divorced, and they tried many experiments until at last they met in a restaurant. They said, let us start again. And they joined together. Hey, remarried? Yes, remarried. Remarried. Now only we discovered that each one of us is meant for the other. The same lady, the same man. They quarreled and they parted. And then they suffered independently. Then again met. Rediscovered. The boy rediscovered the girl. The girl rediscovered the boy. Ayah, this is what you want. This is the honey. I also wanted this only. How many times? So it is all a question of your equipment. Cha upadhi apohe swayameva kevala. With the upadhi, the prism, the 7 colors. To remove it, 1 dot. In the same way. When you are looking at the world through the gross, subtle and the causal bodies, the waking, dream and deep sleep state of experiences of multiplicity, natural. In case you can remove these misinterpreting equipments. Misinterpreting equipments. Kevala. Sajadiya, Vijadiya, Swagata, Bheda, Rahita, Vastu, Kevala. That one homogeneous mass of consciousness. Tasmad, therefore, Upadher Vilayaya Vidwan, the wise man. Wise man meaning one who has already heard the Upanishad, thought over it himself, done enough mananam, and got convinced about it. Such an individual must strive thereafter to upadhi vilaya, to rise above the upadhis and look at things without the distorting equipments between you and the objects of the world outside. Peep over the mind, not through the mind, but over the mind. Through the glasses when I look, everybody looks to be blue or green. Over, like a school teacher. You look over it, there's no color. The color was because of the glass. Think? In the same way. Upadhi, without the upadhi. Vaset sada, may you come to learn to live sada at all times. Akalpa samadhi nishtaya. Akalpa, nirvikalpa. Vikalpa, thought. Akalpa, thoughtless. Your mind quietened. See the vision of the one infinite self within, without. You, the substratum for the whole universe, and come to live in that experience. Sati.
Satto naro yati Sadbhavam hyekanishthaya Kitako bhramaram dhyayan Bhramarattvaya kalpate.
But how can I become that? I am a limited individual, Swamiji. You have misunderstood me just because I came for the camp. That is only for the general health. And I know the type of things that I will get here. Not in the lecture hall, but in the dining hall. Comfortable, nice. So I came. You misunderstood that I am a spiritual one and all that. Nothing, Swamiji. My spirituality, all I kept there in bottles. Here, you understand? That you don't misunderstand me. I am a nobody. I am a dirty fellow. I am a sinner. I have been done all the mistakes and I am still continue doing. And you look at me and say, Brahma Tattvamasi. There is something wrong with you. Now, I may tell you, you may be right about others, but as far as I am concerned, I am not Brahman. This is our attitude. Now here he says, as you think, so you become. Sati Saktaha. In case you are attached to the idea that I am the truth, Krishna, Rama, Shiva, Vishnu, Jesus, Allah, if that devotion has come, to that extent those divine qualities come to play through it. Sati Sakto Naro Yadi, that man who is asakti, who is clinging attachment to a certain thought or idea, he becomes. Who is a politician? Who is identified with a political idea? Who is a doctor? Identified with a medical thought. Who is a communist? Who is convinced of the logic of it and therefore. See, all the time, whatever you think, you become that. If you say that I am a hopeless fellow, useless fellow, I will never win, everything I lose, whatever I touch you get destroyed. Yes, thereafterwards you start touching, everything will destroy. No, I am able to do that. I will do it. Creative I am. And like creative. As you think, so you become. Sati Saktaha, in case you are on Sat, on reality, you are attached to the higher reality. Naro, Naraha, Sadbhavam. You come to Sadbhava, experience that Satta Bhava, that attitude of Sat. Ekanishthaya. Why? He is exclusively contemplating upon the truth. He becomes that. Napoleon was a poor boy, slum child. But even from childhood onwards, he had no doubts about it. So in the Corsican beach, he has collected 10 students, children of his own age, and they were all by the right march. They were training them to be army people. And the others implicitly obeyed also, because the fellow has got that look of leadership. So a traveler going that way, seeing this smart little boy, collecting them and talking to them as though he is the leader of the whole lot, ordering and commanding them, he sat down next to the child, because the child is, Napoleon himself was a short man. It is a miracle how he entered the French army. He must have stood on a stool. Also, he has not the height necessary, the minimum height necessary. Anyway, the man stood there and said, "Son, what do you think that you are going to be when you are grown up?" He had no doubt. He looked down at that stranger and said, "Why? I'm going to be the King of France." So the traveler immediately got up, smiled at the little boy and went away. Forgot all about it. Why? How can he? But the boy from birth onwards have decided to be. And he did become the King of France, Napoleon Bonaparte. That assertion, the consistency of it. And there afterwards actions in the line. Situations will come conducive. So then here, Ekanishthaya, by the one consistent thing. But Swami, by merely thinking, will it happen? Yes, if it is consistent. So consistent that you are wedded to it. And you dare not compromise and act and think anything contrary to what you have ekanishta, what you have taken up as your goal. Now the example is given. Kitako brahmaram dhyayan. Kita, a verb. Brahmaram dhyayan, continuously contemplating upon the nature of the wasp. Brahmaran. Brahmaratvaya kalpate. He becomes a Brahman. This is something that is happening in zoology, that the wasp makes a small net or a cave with clay, which he starts bringing on his proboscis, small balls, round balls, and it starts building it up. Generally at a right angle corner, where the sweeper, the broomstick never goes. So generally under an unopened, never opened table, or between the corners of the ceiling, where the disturbance never goes, there he starts building it up. So two sides are what is already built, only the third side he has to build. He brings the balls and then spreads it out. Then goes through the window, brings another ball and spreads it. Thus within about an hour and a half he builds it up. Let us say about an inch or an inch and a half, and make a small hole, that is all. No cross ventilation, no ventilation, no false ceiling, nothing. A small hole. Now, the last trip, if you go on watching, the fellow comes out, not with a ball of clay, but it is a crawling worm. 0.1 length of a centimeter, 1 or 2, 0.1 or 2. And that worm is put inside. Then again he sits down and closes that hole still a little, so that the worm may not come out. And thereafter, for more than 1 week, the wasp always sits in the gate, outside the gate. Inside is all dark. The worm is inside. At the door is a bright, brilliant light of the sun. Saluted on that light, you see the horrible face. The poor worm sees the horrible face of the wasp. And if you have been ever visited by a wasp, and out of love kissed you, then you will understand. A wasp, a sting of a wasp makes you crawl in pain for the next continuous half an hour or 1 hour. It's got a poison. When that poison is put on your body, which is about 200 pounds, you cannot move about. The pain is agonizing for about half an hour. Compared with your physical stature, that worm is zero size. In that worm, if the wasp is to sting, you can understand the agony and the pain that he will have. So the worm looks at the face of this. He cannot look at the right, left, top or bottom because there is no window, nothing to see. All darkness. The only one point is lighted up, the gate. And at the gate is this monstrous face. If in spite of that the worm tried to see whether its own body is all right just behind, the mother wasp bangs. Oh, pain! And even if he wants to see whether his back portion of the body is alive, he dare not. Why? He remembers the pain that he had, and that monster is sitting there, it will already sting. So you're going to... Thus, ekanishta. This is how the meditator's mental attitude should be. No more running here and there, the world of OET and BMI and PFT, it is all blocked. Utter darkness. You know it not. You are not conscious of the object. You are only conscious of the face of the one pure consciousness. Thus, ekanishta, when it has come, uncompromisingly, consistently contemplating upon the nature of the reality, totally involved in that thought, entertaining no other thoughts of the world outside. Ekanishta. Then the jeev, the contemplative student, becomes that nature. The worm after this 1 week has already grown, wings have come up, and it becomes so powerful that he bursts the nest that has been made by clay and comes out. Swamiji, these are all, it's not, zoology doesn't accept that a worm becomes a wasp. There is no such a theory in our scientific study of wasp. Thus, the zoology boys or the girls can contradict Shankara. And Shankara will indulgently smile at them. Because don't forget that we are not having zoological classroom. And yet, he is right. The wasp always lays white eggs, generally behind the cowshed, where there is always moisture, water. In the moist atmosphere, the wasp lays eggs. When the eggs hatch, the pupa state, in the another state of metamorphosis, the egg opens up, a worm comes out. These 4 or 5 worms among themselves start fighting as children generally fight. And the dead ones are eaten up by the living ones. Until at last, one worm becomes really fat and healthy. Why? He has swallowed all other brothers. It is that worm that has been brought by a wasp into the net or nest. So that though it looks worm, it is potentially a wasp of tomorrow. But how can the worm take to the form of the wasp? Is ekanishta. In the same way, you, the limited ego, the jiva at this moment, in a sense, you are nothing but Brahman. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatma. And this bhavana must be consistent. There are no mother wasp to sting you. The stinging must come from the intellect. So that the mind should not think of anything else but the intellect must be. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Bhavaya. But yesterday my milk was full of water. Mind will run for these sense objects. That each time the intellect, alert and vigilant, pierce him. Brahman. It's so true. The picture is so complete. And the mind is not allowed to go to any other object. And when the mind is not going to the object, there are no thoughts. In that situation, when the ego, the limited individuality, consistently contemplates upon the nature of the reality, it awakes. Just as the dreamer wakes up. Similarly, you as the limited ego awakes to the higher state and come to realize it. Kidago brahmaram dhyayan. By continuously dhyana meditation, exclusive thinking of the Brahmara, Brahmaratvaya kalpate, he becomes a Brahman in the long run.
Kriyantara saktimapasya kitakaha. Dhyayan yathalim hyalibhavam ruchati. Tathaiva yogi paramatma tattvam. Dhyatva samayati tadeka nishtaya.
I seem to have anticipated, because that is the logical thinking. He is trying to analyze it and try to find out that this example given and it is applied in our individual life. Kriya andara, andara kriya, any other activity. Andara asakti, any clinging attachment to any other effort or activity. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, thinking, all these activities, all these asakti, the extrovertedness of the human personality, apasya, all of them stopped. No more is the sense organs, the mind or intellect is moving about in our known, usual fields of experiences. Apasya, kitakaha, that worm, all other activities have ended. looking right or left or above or below. No, only seeing it. Dhyayan halim. Dhyanam continuous. Ali, the wasp. All other activities have stopped. His mind's attention is not diverted anywhere. Consistently contemplating upon the Ali. Hali bhava mrichadi. He comes to gain the Hali bhava. It becomes a wasp. Tathaiva. In the same way. Yogi, the contemplative student. Paramatma tattvam, constantly contemplating upon the nature of the Paramatman. Jati niti kula gotra duprakam, etc. The 10 verses or the 3 lines are the nature of the reality. Thus constantly remembering the Atma tattvam. Dhyatva samayadi tadekanishthaya. He reaches that same truth by ekanishthaya. By turning your entire attention to it. The individuality ends. You come to experience that Atman, the Self.
Ativa sukshmam paramatva tattvam na sthula drishtya pratipattum arhati samadhinatyanta susukshma vritya ज्ञातव्यम आर्यैरति शुद्ध बुद्धिभिः
Ativa sukshmam. This great reality is extremely subtle. The moment you are coming out, molding your intellect and thought through laboratories, you will never understand when you say sukshma. Sukshma means subtle. Subtle means, you see, Swamiji, the electrons are subtler than the atom. Atom contains electron over here. So what contains, that's subtle, 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 subtle. In Vedanta, the subjective scientists have a very clearer notion of what is subtle. Subtlety is measured by its pervasiveness. That which pervades more is subtler, sukshma. Thus, a solid 1 foot cube of an ice is that grossest form of water. 1 square foot only. Supposing you melt that solid ice, the water contents in that can be spread throughout the floor. It has a greater pervasiveness. And therefore we say water is subtler than, liquid is subtler than solid. If that water contains in melting a 1 foot block, 1 foot cube of a ice, melt it into water and boil the water and make it steam, the steam has a larger pervasiveness, not only on the floor, but also on the height of the room up to the roof, isn't it? Thus, gas is subtler than liquid. Liquid is subtler than solid. Solid is the grossest. Your body is the grossest because its pervasiveness is only 1 notch in the belt. See? If at the lunchtime you got what you like most, curry rice, you loosen one notch. That is a spreading that you can. But your prana, even if you sit down quietly, the neighbor suffers. Why? It pervades. Your mind, Abba, pervades to the other end of the world. Within the field of your experience, mind can go any time. Mind is subtler than prana. The intellect is subtler than the mind. Because mind can go only to things that you know now. The spread of your mind is limited by your present knowledge. You cannot think of Australia, America, Europe, because you have never been experienced. The intellect is that which breaks the present frontiers of your mind, acquires new knowledge, and thereafter your mind can travel in that field of new knowledge also. Thus the intellect has a greater sway than the mind, and therefore it is subtle. Atman, the Brahman, is the subtlest because it is all pervading. All these pervasiveness of different degrees, or the gross, the prana, the gross body, the prana, the mind, the intellect itself is moving where? In consciousness alone. Ishavasyamidagam sarvam. Yat kin jagatyam jagat. Everything in this world of change is enveloped by, embraced by this mighty reality truth. It's the subtlest. Therefore, when you say the Atman is the subtlest, it means it is all pervading. Now, if the mother likes the design of the child's shoes, and the mother wants to wear it, the design on it is exactly like her blouse. So you see? If your shoes is even one number less, you can wear it, putting the leg there. And when you start walking, before you reach the end of the block, and you can see such people, every step, right lip goes up, then left lip goes up. Why? One number less. It cannot go in. Narayana, who is all pervaded, how can he be stuck into your physical body? 42 chest. Who are you? I am this. I am. And you are pain. You always pain. Yes, because you are pushed. You are the all-pervading, and you are saying that no, I am in this body only. Others are others. No harm, but see the agony. And there are people who say that also. Swamiji, really speaking, Bhagavan has blessed me. I have got everything, but Swamiji, I am unhappy. You are unhappy because you have no wife or no home, no success, no money. No, I got everything. But I am unhappy. Why? You got everything, but you are pushed yourself into one number less shoe. Though the pain is on the leg, it spreads all over. And I am unhappy. Especially these high-heeled shoes. Oh, Mahababi. Some criminal enemy, man of enmity with you said that, honey, you look so fine on the hip. Bas. She believed it. Thereafter she jumps on that. Walks anywhere. Anywhere you sit down, you watch a lady who has got a high-heeled shoes. Anywhere she sits down, bus or train or plane, or the first thing she does is and take the feet out of the shoes and then the toes. Look at her face. Paramanand. Why? Swaswarup. He is in the natural. The other, the upadhi. Because of the upadhi, suffering. Then why are you carrying the upadhi? Why, my friends all love me like that. If you remove the upadhi, you are happy. Now he says, this subtle reality, which is all-pervading. If you want to embrace him, what should be your size? Slightly bigger than Paramatman, isn't it? I have never embraced my wife because I am a thin guy. She isn't. Make you understand that. I never embraced. Similarly, your mind at this moment is only capable of thinking of you and yours. That is all. I and my wife, my money, my position, my status, my success, my failure, my power, my position, my. With that mind, how can it's not possible. Unless your mind also becomes subtle. Subtle means vast, embracing large area. You are not limited by, I am the body, I am the mind, I am my possession, my family, my property. Expand! A mind cannot be expanded when it is identified with the BMI and OET. So one who has given it out, the mind becomes subtle. Ativa sukshmam paramatma tattvam. The tattva, the paramatma, the supreme consciousness is all-pervading. Ativa sukshmam, extremely subtle. Na stula drishtya pradipattum arhati. Therefore, these stula gross evaluation, gross experiences of the sense organs of the mind or the intellect cannot pradipattum, cannot embrace it, cannot contain it, cannot reach out to it. You have to become yourself subtle. Samadhina atyanda susukshma vrittya. Samadhina, by learning slowly to withdraw the mind from all objects, quieten the mind. The mind becomes subtler and subtler, vaster in its vision, larger your abilities and capacities to perceive, to recognize the subtler reality. Samadhina susukshma, extremely subtle, the mind has become vrittya by those subtle thoughts. Subtle thought means mind, which is a thought flow, subtle thought. Subtle thought of not not thinking of the gross world of objects, but that pure self only. Jnatavyam Aryaih, Arya Purushas, Arya, the best among mankind. Arya is not the name of a geographical type of people who are in the North India only, where in Punjab. Arya. So because Arya Samaj started there, Arya meaning the best. There are Aryans in Australia, in America, in every part of the world. Humane people who have got a control over his own passions and lusts, who strives to live the nobler life, not satisfied by merely living at the animal level of instincts and impulses. One who strives to reach a higher beauty in life. Arya, by all Arya, best of people. Shuddha buddhi, whose intellect, mind and intellect become Shuddha, pure. Pure meaning no more turning towards the sense objects of the world outside.
Yatha suvarnam putapakashodhitam Tyaktva malam swatmagunam samricchati Tatha manasattva rajastamo malam Dhyanena santyajya sameti tattvam